All right, welcome. Today, we are pulling back the curtain on a department that's, let's be honest, often misunderstood, but is absolutely critical to any company's success. I'm talking about human resources. We're going to explore how it's really evolved into the strategic heart of the modern workplace.
So, when you hear the letters HR, what's the first thing that pops into your head? For a lot of people, it's probably paperwork, dense policy manuals, maybe even planning the office party. But is that all there is to it? Let's find out what a modern HR department really does.
The reality is, modern HR is so much more than that. A much better way to think about it is as a company's people operations system. The strategic hub that manages the most vital asset of all, its people. It's way less about administration and way more about unlocking human potential.
To really wrap our heads around this, we're going to go on a little guided tour. We'll walk through the 4 core divisions that make up a really high-functioning HR department and see exactly how they all work together to build a great company.
Okay, our first stop is talent acquisition and onboarding. Think of this team as the front door to the company. In today's crazy competitive market, their job isn't just to post an ad online and wait for the best. It's all about building an employer brand that makes talented people actually want to work there.
This slide right here breaks down a journey that I'm sure many of us have been on. It all starts with sourcing, and that means using data and networks to actively go out and find talent. Next up is interviewing, which is about assessing not just what you know, but your potential and how you'll add to the team's culture. Then, of course, comes the hiring stage, making the offer. But it doesn't stop there. That final critical step is onboarding. This is all about making sure a new hire is totally set up for success from day one, so they feel welcomed and can be productive right away.
So, once somebody's hired, what's next? Well, that brings us to our second stop, employee development and performance. This is where the company really invests in its people, focusing entirely on their growth. You can think of this division as the engine for growth. Seriously, they're responsible for everything from skills training that keeps the team sharp to leadership programs that build future managers. They also manage performance reviews, which, ideally, are not just a report card, but a tool for real, constructive feedback. They also help map out clear career paths, and maybe the most strategic piece of all, succession planning. That's all about ensuring the company's future by always having skilled people ready to step up into key roles.
Our third stop brings us to compensation and benefits. Okay, this is where we get into the tangible rewards that are important to every single employee, from their salary right down to their health plan. This isn't just about cutting checks, it's about designing a whole philosophy of reward.
Now, the key concept to get here is total compensation, the idea that your pay is so much more than just a single number. As this table shows, it's a strategic package. Your base salary, that's the foundation, designed to be fair and competitive in the market. Then you have incentives, like bonuses, which are designed to align your goals with the company's and reward great performance. And finally, benefits, things like health insurance and retirement plans that provide that crucial security that allows people to really do their best work. A great company has to get all 3 of these right if they want to attract and keep top talent. Next up, our fourth and final stop on the tour, employee relations and culture. This division has a really powerful dual role. On one hand, it's about keeping the workplace fair and compliant. But on the other, it's about actively building an environment where people genuinely want to come to work every day.
In this slide just perfectly captures the 2 sides of that coin. On one side, you've got compliance. That's the must-do. This means following labor laws, handling conflicts fairly, and basically preventing problems. It's the foundation, right? But on the other side, you have culture, the want-to-do. This is about proactively building a positive, inclusive, and supportive environment. Compliance keeps you out of trouble, for sure, but a great culture is what really drives success.
This brings us to that famous quote from the management guru Peter Drucker. Culture eats strategy for breakfast. The idea is simple, but it's so powerful. You could have the most brilliant business plan in the world, but if your company culture is toxic or uninspired, that plan's going to fail. And this HR division, they are the primary guardian of that culture.
Okay, so we've seen all these individual divisions, but the real power of HR isn't in what these teams do separately. It's all about how they work together as a single, cohesive system.
So the crucial takeaway here is that these divisions are not silos. They are an interconnected system. The people who are hired by talent acquisition are the very same ones who are trained by development. They get rewarded by the comp and benefits team, and they're supported by employee relations. It's this continuous cycle that supports an employee throughout their entire journey with the company.
So let's do a quick recap of our tour. Talent acquisition strategically brings the right people in the door. Development helps them grow their careers. Compensation rewards their work fairly. And employee relations builds a positive environment that makes them want to stick around. When all these functions work in harmony, they create this incredibly powerful engine that drives the entire company forward.
And that brings our tour to a close. We've seen how HR has really evolved into this strategic system for managing a company's most important asset. Which leaves me with one final question for you to think about. Of all these functions, which one do you think is the most critical for a company's long-term success? Is it finding the talent, growing it, rewarding it, or creating the culture that keeps it all together? Definitely something to chew on. Thanks for joining me.